you can see evidence of a little inflow notch right in through here. And again, I'm not so sure that's the region they identified because that is not in this polygon. That's the tornado warning polygon. Whatever, it is interesting to note, we really haven't seen a lot of bad winds with this. Let's go to our Skycam network if we can. Charles, give us a good Skycam looking at some lightning. Maybe Jasper looking back into it. Let's see, Brian, are you still there? I think Brian hung up on us.
He's
Brian,
still on the stream.
If you ever watch our show, Weather Brains, we're used to people hanging up on us. That's very routine there.
You know, so far on the Jasper Skycam, we haven't had that much lightning, and that's we will, but we haven't been able to see much yet. And even on Brian's feed, I haven't seen a lot. Of course, he's got the iPad Mini. We're starting to see a little bit there, and kind of tilted up towards the sky. Maybe we can get the iris to open up a little bit.
Right. And again, you know, this has been a day where we had that one really rough cluster of storms that moved north up I-65. It came through Clanton and then Birmingham and Cullman, and of course it affected Blount and Walker counties. It seems like the most intense damage was in Cullman and Walker counties. Cullman took a big hit. A lot of trees down, some businesses were damaged.
And that was from straight line winds. That's the important thing to note.
Right. And Brian Peters, this is Monday night. We'd typically be getting set for Weather Brains, but tonight we are doing Storm Brains. So
Storm Brains.
Storm Brains, here we are. And if you've never watched Weather Brains, it's on this channel, on the James Spann 24/7 channel, every Monday night at 8:30 Central. But we're seeing lightning flashes off your camera there, Brian. What you got?
Yeah, the lightning is inching ever so closer and becoming much more vivid than it has been so far, James. Getting an awful lot of in-cloud as well as cloud-to-ground lightning that is flashing up the sky. It's still a little hard. The flashes are still short enough that it's hard to get a good view of the low clouds to see how the air is flowing right above the ground. But certainly at the ground level where I am, the wind is not blowing very strong at all. It's very light from, looks like out of the south primarily.
I guess you saw that spin-up tornado warning up there in the Shoals. That was interesting.
Yeah, that reminds me of the one we had earlier for Lamar and Marion County there.
Right, and again, we're having a hard time seeing anything on that. So, but yeah, it's clearly one of these evenings where if we have tornadoes, they're going to be these small, embedded tornadoes in a quasi-linear convective system, and that can make it very challenging.
Let's switch to the Fayette Skycam there. And, you know, Brian's got this batch. He's got a small storm between him and the line itself. If you saw it on the radar there, there's Jasper. There's a small storm. It's moving up really from Barry up towards Carbon Hill.
Boy,
back over towards
rocking
Fayette,
and rolling.
There is almost constant lightning here. And this is where we're seeing really the action going on right now. We're looking back towards the south is what it's telling me, but that looks more like southeast to me. We swing that around a little bit more. We get into the tower there.
Hey, Danielle, it's Danielle. I better not call him Danielle on the stream. Daniel, yeah, he said great. Can you see the image on Internet One by chance? Let me just show this on the air. This is the mobile home in which we had one fatality today. Larry Miller, one of our reporters here at ABC 3340, just sent this image in, and Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. We had one fatality. She was an older woman that elderly lady that lived here. I think she was home alone at the time, based on the reports I saw coming from the news department, and a tree came through the trailer. So again, I just wanted to show that's from Larry Miller, who is one of our reporters. He is at that site. And again, we will have much more from Larry on the late news at 10 o'clock tonight. But let's go back to that Fayette Skycam. You can see why. I mean, it is just shaking.
I just want to see how much rain is on the ground. That's the other issue. A lot of folks getting out on those roads, and we advise you not to let these storms get by before you have to. But look at that, a lot of water on the roads. And man, it's rocking with that lightning. And you know what, I kind of realize it now looking at the line is right over Fayette, so it doesn't really matter which way I point it. We're going to get plenty of that rain there.
Yeah, the cameras are very important to us. We developed this network many years ago.
That heavy rain.
It has been just invaluable. Yeah, tremendous amounts of rain coming down here in Walker County. And that is what you can expect as the line moves through your neighborhood later this evening. And again, that line is moving along steadily to the...
Let's go over to the courthouse.
Let's do that. Again, I'm going to throw back up some other radars here. Nice thing about the stream, we can be a little more laid back. We can actually have some dramatic pauses here.
You know what? We would be seeing the same thing in Haleyville at the moment. Our Skycam there has been down. It's under repair right now. But, you know, this stretches from Haleyville back down through Winfield, Fayette, really back down almost to Tuscaloosa. It's not quite into Tuscaloosa County yet, but you guys will see this here coming up soon.
Yeah, and again, we are watching more data coming in here. Let's see if they're going to cancel that warning up there in the northwestern corner of the state.
Yeah, let's go back. I'll zoom in on that there. They haven't said, the Weather Service hasn't said anything on the chat about it yet. And they say a possible touchdown near the Shoals. Widespread power outages in Tuscumbia, Sheffield, and the Shoals.
And this is from the EMA.
Right.
I'm sorry, this is from the Amateur Radio Emergency Service, which works with the EMA. They're trying to get people to the areas affected. And like the Weather Service in Huntsville notes, this, Brian, you still there by any chance? Brian Peters?
Yes, I'm still here.
This is your classic low cape, high shear environment. And you need to explain what that means for those that don't know.
Well, CAPE means convectively available potential energy. It's a value that meteorologists use to get some idea of how unstable the atmosphere is. And the CAPE values are not particularly exorbitant today. They're certainly sufficient for severe weather. But the shear, the wind shear, the change in either wind's direction or speed with height is certainly significant enough to cause, especially along that squall line, as we get these little Boeing segments, to cause little spin-ups to occur, and they'll touch down briefly and produce probably EF0, EF1 damage.
So, Brian, are you eating?
Yes, I have to get some lunch sometime.
Yeah, I hear
Girls
you.
got to eat.
Yeah, hey, man, no problem here. But again, yeah, it's one of those, it's a situation where this is very problematic. A lot of time, yeah, but there's Brian's munching down, looking at the stop sign there. But let's go back to the radar. Let's put that behind me for just a minute, and let's kind of talk about this. Let's expand this out. And again, that warning continues up here for Lauderdale County. But this is the long line of storms, and really, there's just nothing here in Pickens and Tuscaloosa counties, which is, you know, great. I mean, this is a look at the Birmingham NexRad, and yeah, there's some thunder and lightning in here, but in terms of severity, you know, there's no reason for a warning, and there isn't a warning. In fact, we have no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for any part of our DMA, designated market area. There's the tornado watch. The counties in the, what is this, pink, dark pink?
I didn't
purple.
Make it. I didn't make it.
I'm kind of colorblind. But this
I'll go with pink,
yeah,
purple.
it includes Gadsden, not Anniston. And the warning just expired up here. They took that out.
They canceled that.
Right, so the warning was, so now we have no warnings. And let's peek down to the Mobile DMA down here. I don't think there's any warnings down there. Well,
they've got the one over in Mississippi there.
Right, we have a small polygon that looks like that's in the county down here below Wayne County, Mississippi, and I should know that. And it can't.
You know, my Mississippi counties have gone.
You used to work at the mighty Channel 11 there in Meridian.
That's right.
This
Greene
is
County.
Yeah, Greene County. This is Washington County, Alabama. This is Mobile County. Citronelle is at the northern tip of Mobile County. Highway 45 goes up to Meridian and Columbus and Starkville. So we'll see. But again, there are no warnings. Not a single warning in the entire state of Alabama. And if you would say that would be the case at, 7:42. And by the way, Daniel, did we miss our break on the? Okay, let me know when we get there. I lose track of time when we're out here.
We got a new severe just north in the Huntsville area, but at least they went severe on that.
Right.
Colbert and Lawrence County.
You know, we got these notches and bows in this thing, and you know how challenging those can be. Dealing with a squall line is very difficult. Yeah, I'm going through a lot of reports here, and again, the good news down this way, I'm just not seeing anything. And that confirms what the Weather Service is doing. They are doing the right thing. And again, what people I think don't understand, to confirm, to verify, you've got to have winds of 58 miles per hour or higher, or hail 1 inch in diameter or larger. And we just don't have any of that in this line of storms. And it's kind of progressing through. And I agree with Charles. This thing is ahead of schedule. We looked at it in the numerical weather prediction tools we use, the models, if you will, really slowed this thing down. And they really had it still back over in central Mississippi, closer to I-55 at this time. And here it is, you know, approaching I-65 in Alabama at this hour. So,
you know, I think, and I'm trying to look at the SPC mesoanalysis. It seems like the surface stuff is outrunning the upper levels. You know, they're just not meshing together like we thought they were.
Right, and you've got to have the combination. Well, you got to have dynamic support. You've got to have something to get the parcels of air rising easily. And there's a large scale upper trough that's still pretty far west of the state, and it could be that the storms are outrunning the dynamics, and accordingly they have been a little weaker. But okay, and this is going to be a real quick TV hit. Let's see how many hate mail messages we get this time.
You know, it looks like the upper trough is still back almost to Arkansas and back into Oklahoma, you know, the peak of that. So you guys can't see what we're looking at here, but just doing an on-the-fly analysis, and all the surface stuff is just way out ahead. And so that's in our favor, at least. That's the good news.
Yep. So again, Daniel's going to count me down, and we're going to go. We're going to be on the television side here for just a moment. So we'll put a good little generic radar loop behind me. We'll spend about 20 seconds or so over there, and we'll be right. Of course, we'll stay right here. You'll see the whole thing on this side. No, one of my little tricks of getting the haters back, Charles, I'll pick out one of the classier hate tweets, and I'll retweet it. You don't want me doing that if you're one of the haters, because, whoo, boy, it gets interesting. It is a very interesting society we live in today. But again, if you do weather, you have to take the heat. I tell the young people all the time, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to deal with haters, and you're going to have to deal with being wrong. You're in the forecasting business. You will make horrible mistakes that affect people in a very horrible way. Mm-hmm. You have to have a real iron gut to do this. And I don't know if it gets any easier with age, but you've been through all these different experiences in my 35 years of this. And so, again, it's easier for me to deal with it than some of the young men like Charles. So again, we're just kind of holding on here for a second. We're going to hit the television side live and give them about a 20 or a 30-second update, and then we'll come back. What show hits at 8 o'clock, Daniel? Do you know I don't even know. What's on Monday nights at 8 on ABC? Isn't that horrible? We work for
I have no idea. I'm asleep by then.
Oh, they have 2 hours of Dancing with the Stars. Wow. All right. So this is the time you hope and pray there are no tornado warnings for the second hour as well. Again, we know a lot of you are watching the live stream, so thank you for doing that.
I have to say, this one particular thread of tweets is hilarious. I'm going back through it.
Yeah, it's some of the. If you need some comedy relief, you always got the Twitter, the tweeters. But again, we can kind of laugh and have a little fun here. Quite frankly, I'm relieved, and I think Charles is, and many of you are, in that we do not have any warnings. And understand it. Look, we showed you that Fayette Skycam. If you're in the middle of this, it is nasty. There is thunder and lightning. You got winds probably 25, 30 miles an hour, but there's nothing to suggest any trees are coming down right now. Nothing to suggest there's any rotation or tornadoes in through here right now. And again, that is a very encouraging thing right now. So we can sit back and have a little fun. In fact, probably if we don't have any warnings, we might take a little break here at 8 and regroup and maybe come back at 8:30 or 9 on the live stream. But we're going to pause for a minute and join the TV side. I'm James Spann. Here's a quick update. The news is good. We have no active warnings in the state, despite the fact the line of strong storms is passing through northwest Alabama. They are under severe limits. They're producing a lot of lightning, torrential rain, winds of 20, 30 miles an hour, but we have had no damage, no reports of problems with this. So that's the reason we're not on television. We'll watch these carefully. The next update coming up at about 8 o'clock. But again, for now, no active warnings in Alabama. We're streaming live on ABC3340.com and on James Spann 24/7 on cable systems around the state. Now, back to Dancing with the Stars. All right. We are back. And boy, yeah, and of course, it's not just us. You know, the other weather guys, they got shows on that people watch. And I tell you what, we used to cut off basketball on Christmas Day. We had to cut off basketball, the halftime. Woo, boy. It wasn't even the game. It was like the halftime. That was one of the worst ones ever. But anyway, enough of that. Yeah, what we're going to do here in about 10 minutes, what we're going to do, Daniel, we will do a cut-in at 8. And at the end of that, we're going to end the live stream coverage for now. We'll probably come back about 9 o'clock or so. And of course, if we start having severe thunderstorm warnings, we'll come back. But we'll take a break, give the folks in the back, our production crew, a chance to kind of reset, give Charles a chance to eat his dinner. He has a catered dinner waiting on him back in his office back over there. Now, my wife sent homemade soup. It's just great. She's the best. She is a miracle worker to be married with me. I
have the fine French cuisine, Les Pop Tart.
No, I have the homemade soup is just great. So, yeah, and again, it's pretty remarkable, again, for us to be able to sit here at this stage of the game. What I'm going to do here is look at the meso-analysis page coming off SBC. In case you don't know, if you're a weather weenie, the meso-analysis page is a marvelous tool that is a product of the Storm Prediction Center, which is in Norman, Oklahoma. And and this is designed for really, weather professionals. You're going to see a lot of data on there that might not make any sense, but you can see standard things like, the pressure gradient, the radar. But I am going to throw up on this a look at the bulk shear from the surface to 1 kilometer. And I will say the bulk shear values are maxed out right up here, where you see that tornado warning polygon. So that is, I think, one of the reasons they're a little concerned about that part of the state. In fact, the shear values up there, and again, this is in the lowest 1 kilometer. It's 45 knots. That is pretty extreme. So there's a very highly sheared atmosphere in here, especially in the low levels, and that can produce these small tornadoes within this thing. But if you look at the other big issue, which is the instability, the thermodynamics, the CAPE values are just very low.
Limited, yeah.
I mean, you basically got surface-based instabilities up there barely of 100 joules per kilogram, which is insignificant. But we have seen this before, where you got the high shear and the low CAPE, and you can have a small tornado. And again, let's look at what we've got up here, Charles. We'll zoom into the...
It looks like they just issued a new tornado warning.
The tornado warning.
The area we were just talking about.
Tornado warning polygon up in that same zone up there for...
And we'll get this loop off
Colbert
of here too.
And Lawrence.
And, they issued the severe thunderstorm warning along this line earlier because of a broad rotation. They didn't have the wind or the hail that they were talking, typically, but they were talking about at the Weather Service out of Huntsville earlier that because of a broad rotation out of this, they went ahead and issued the severe thunderstorm warning, get your attention a little bit, and now they went ahead and went tornado warning on this. They went ahead with the new warning, so I don't see that coming through the chat. Is that just our system?
Stand by here. I got so much traffic coming in. Yeah, it's up on the chat.
Okay.
They've issued a tornado warning for Colbert and Lauderdale. This is at 8:15.
There we go.
A severe storm capable of producing a tornado was near Town Creek, moving northeast at 45. The rotation is still there with the latest half-degree scan from High Top. It is in northwest Lawrence County. And again, this is all in Huntsville's television market. The reason we are not on the air on the television side for this, it is not in our DMA, it's in the Huntsville DMA. So our friends up at the channels up there, our old buddy Jason Simpson. You know Jason Simpson, don't
buddy.
you?
Oh, I worked with him in Meridian back in the day.
Jason, he's getting to be old, you know.
Before he was married, I knew Jason.
Hair's
when
falling
he had
out,
hair, yeah.
kids. Anyway, he's dealing with this right now. But again, you can see, you know, you got these little notches in here, and there's always something suspicious when you see things like that. And I was going to check the data coming off of my radar here and see if we see anything.
And you know, this is still in that zone where we don't get the really good velocity products. You know, this just doesn't look good on our system here.
Right. Again, for some reason, the data from, I think, okay, we do have data coming back from WD. They've had some outages. Weather Decision Technologies, they provide the data that comes into radar scope, and it is back. And they have a really nice super resolution reflectivity product. In fact, let's take a look at my radar if we can. I believe it is on Internet 1. There we go. Yeah, see all these notches in through here. And that just looks suspicious. It almost looks like Kelvin Helmholtz wave
yeah.
clouds within that line. Yeah, that does look suspicious, and especially if he had damage in Muscle Shoals or the Quad Cities, I would certainly be suspicious of that. You know, the one thing we haven't really checked tonight, it's the correlation coefficient product, and this is where you might find evidence of debris being lofted. I don't see it in here. You look for a minimum that would be down in through here, and no, it's just too noisy. But this is a marvelous product that lets you see when debris is being lofted, and it can be very well defined, but I don't see a TDS in here, which is a good thing. And again, we'll go back to the velocity product, and yeah, there's clearly something suspicious going on near Town Creek, and we'll see if they keep that going here. This is Athens over here in Limestone County, which is right here. But all this is up in the Tennessee Valley, and folks up there are probably watching the local stations. So let's go back to our regular radar, and let's go. Brian, you still there, by the way? Brian Peters?
Here, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. How was your dinner?
Oh, it was wonderful. Thank you. I have an excellent wife, too, James. She packed a little snack bag for me so that I wouldn't get out without supper.
Yeah, we married over our head.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Brian, Daniel says, were the prunes delicious? I'm sorry, I'm just passing along the things that I'm hearing here.
He's a regular guy.
Yeah, he's a very regular man.
Oh.
So, Brian, what you got? Let's take Brian's shot. I still see the stop sign. What you got there?
It's the lightning is very vivid. It is increasing a little bit, but it's still not how Charles described it as continuous. There was a pretty good flash right there. Haven't seen any real good cloud to ground strokes. It looks like most of what I'm seeing are flashes within the cloud or from cloud to cloud. And no rain at this location yet. It looks like the rain's not very far away. I can see a lot of low clouds, James, and they are moving fairly swiftly to the north.
Yeah.
So,
Brian, you've got a line of heavier rain that's kind of, it's still a super, well, it's a cell that's out ahead of the line itself. It's kind of merging with the line. Behind that, though, you're going to see a lot of lightning headed your way, and that is actually just east of the Fayette Skycam now, which is we're actually looking into the backside of the storm. So we're kind of caught between Fayette and Jasper Skycams, and you're actually in the middle of those two. So give you about 15 more minutes here, and I think it should pick up just a little bit.
Yes, you're right. I was looking at radar just a moment ago, and it looks like the rain is getting pretty close to my location right now.
Yeah, and you've still got, you said those clouds. We saw that on the Skycams all day. Just clouds moving in from the south at a very rapid pace. And that's what's been feeding these storms all night long. You know, we talked about it earlier. The dew points up there are still in the low 70s in many spots. And I mean, in Fayette, the dew point right now is about 68. It was as high as 74 just a little while ago.
Sorry, there's an ad message
What-
coming through
what
my
we
mic.
got
I was.
Brian's listening to sports radio.
Yeah,
And the
no,
Chaser.
I was doing a promotion for our live stream over on social media, and there's an autoplay ad that runs, so that's what that was.
Hey, I hate those.
No, I love them because that's how our salaries are paid.
Well, I like those then.
We love those ads. So yeah, I'm in the process of just making a little reminder that folks can watch us on the stream. I always do this before Weather Brain starts. Let's see here. Of course, I'm planning on going off the air here in a few minutes. We'll hold it a little bit past 8 o'clock. We'll hold it about 8:10 or something. So let's see here. Yes, yeah, coming out of the top of the hour here, if you don't mind, sir. We're going to join the TV family here for a brief moment. And the ad message is coming back. I had to bring it back up.
We had a report of the steeple at the Church of Christ in Hamilton that was hit by lightning earlier this evening. It may have been on fire. Just scanning the sky on the Skycam, we don't see that. But if anybody's got a picture of that, send it to us. I want to make sure everything's okay up there.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we're going to stand by here for just a second. For those of you watching on the stream, stand by. Okay. There's a lot of people watching the stream.
I'm taking the CrossFit